Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you. And it is for Thursday, May 27th, 16th day of Sivan. Today we're going to discuss this interesting situation. You may occasionally see honey for sale with a hechsher on it. And that honey for sale will say unfiltered honey. And the question that you might wonder, you'll see the hechsher on it and you'll be a little bit perplexed, because if the honey is unfiltered, then that's going to mean that there could actually be pieces of the bee inside of the honey, and bee pieces are not kosher. A bee is not a kosher animal. So how could unfiltered honey be considered kosher? That is the question we're going to deal with tonight. And I have something I'm going to show you here in a minute to help clarify this situation. But first, let's get the facts straight. I've been reading some kosher printouts here telling me that when it says unfiltered honey, it doesn't mean that it's fully unfiltered. They do still put the honey through some mesh, and the mesh catches most pieces of the bee and everything. Unfiltered just means that they leave the pollen in there, and some of the healthy stuff that you want in the honey is still there. And it's like kind of like, oh, I would loosely call it the equivalent of like whole wheat bread. It means all the good stuff is still in there, the pollen and the other whatever things are in honey that you want. But they certainly try as hard as they can to get all the pieces of bee out there with some straining, and that is good enough. And if you're concerned that there might be just like one bee leg like still stuck in there, so I've something interesting to show you. I'm gonna share screen here and show you two right now, and it's gonna be in this Tosfos right over here, right next to my face. Let's see if I can find it. I just lost it. Okay, right around here. Vahalo ragle hadevorim me'uravim bedvash. This is a Tosfos in Maseches Avodah Zarah that says, but the feet of the bees are mixed into the honey. Okay, and here, let's get to the answer. The Rabbeinu Tam says here, Devadai ragle hadevorim kivan da'atzamos ba'alma ninhu. We view the feet of the bees as if they are just like bones, and therefore they're permissible. Da'atzamos tahorim, because bones themselves are considered pure. Tisnan b'maseches Taros, we learned in Taros, Atzamos HaChamor, the bones of a donkey, Tahoros, they are pure. Varagle HaDevorim Ke'atzmos HaChamor. So this is Tosfos here that says we will treat the legs of the bees, if they might maybe be in minuscule amounts inside of the quote unquote unfiltered honey, we would just treat them anyway like they're just some bones lying around there, which are no problem at all. And he goes on to say some complicated things here that if you'd say, but they have no measure, he says, well, that's for tuma laws. But otherwise, they're not a problem for eating. And so in conclusion, this Tosfos here is basically saying, do not worry about little bee legs that might have ended up inside of your honey. They are not a problem at all. Going to be considered totally fine. So don't worry about unfiltered honey. If it has a hechsher on it, it's still kosher. And all it really means is that they have not filtered out the pollen, but they've tried very hard to get all the other stuff out. And the little errant tiny piece of bee here and there, like a leg or something, is not considered a problem. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.